Hello, everyone. I'll give the people a little bit of time to join our show and tell session for June. Um, and yeah, welcoming everyone in. And just a little bit of housekeeping before, as always, please make sure that your chat is set to everyone because we love to hear all of your comments, your questions. We love having you be part of your discussion, our discussion while the session is going on today. And also as a reminder, we will be sharing the recording of today's session, but make sure that the chat is set to everyone so everyone that is on this call, not just the host and the panelists, can all see your comments and your questions during the webinar today. And then I will hand it over to Ellie shortly to go over some of our events and marketing for the upcoming month before we dive into our show and tell for today.
Thank you, Hallie. Hello, everyone. So yeah, just quickly wanted to highlight two upcoming events we're very excited about this month. So first, on the 10th of June, we are hosting a LinkedIn Live called Fashion's Most Hated Color, an Emerging Opportunity. And in this live 30-minute conversation, we'll unpack one of fashion's most debated shades, explore why perceptions around it are shifting, and discuss what that could mean for brands moving forward. And then on the 16th of June, we are hosting a live webinar titled Wellness in Motion, a 360-degree plus opportunity. So our beauty and wellness and active teams will explore the growing convergence of fitness, wellness, and beauty from evolving consumer lifestyles to the brand's innovations and hybrid experiences shaping the future of these industries. So to register for both events, you can visit futuresnoops.com/events or click the resource button in your Zoom toolbar. But that is all from me, and I'll hand it back to Hallie to kick off our June show and tell.
Amazing. Thank you, Ellie. I'll stop sharing. I'll bring our links up. All right. Find them on computer. All right. So we'll be diving into our June show and tell, and we'll kick off with Lisa.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name's Lisa McCandless. I'm the Director of Pattern and Graphics, and I'm based in Cheshire in the UK. Okay, so we can start on the first one, please, Hallie. This is Tak. So this is an architecture and design studio. They are based in both Barcelona and New York, and their studio works critically engages with the integration of ecological frameworks in the space of architecture. So they were commissioned by Museo Maxi, which this is actually a new museum to me, but it's not new. It's from 2010. But it's considered the first national museum in Italy that focuses on contemporary art. And it was designed by Zaha Hadid, so it'll be gorgeous. Well, it is gorgeous. But anyway, they were commissioned by Museo Maxi to rethink what a museum entrance could be. So rather than functioning merely as this, circulation zone, the lobby, the place for people to linger, to kind of put your head down, walk straight through, the idea is that they wanted to create a space that was for lingering, for resting, meeting, caring, interacting with both people and also the living ecosystems. So this is very much in line, just in general, with the conversations that's happening within FS, but also equally within design about, enjoying the mundane and the everyday. So the idea that the spaces that we typically rush through, like the hallways, the entrances, and in this space, the entrance of the museum, you'd normally rush through to get to the gallery hall, but actually there's just as much value in these destinations. And it just allows for this moment of pause, and also it obviously encourages connection and community here. So what you're seeing is this communal sofa. So it's just beyond gorgeous. But it's a 7-meter diameter soft landscape engaging ancestral forms of entanglement between bodies and Mediterranean plants. So visitors are encouraged to rest, lie down, just kind of coexist. So you can go back to their main Insta and just look through their page. They've been around for a long time, but they're definitely one to follow. Their pieces are all just really stimulating. They work globally and they always have kind of a real intention to their design. And then if you go to the top, sorry, Hallie, there's like an image right at the top of like a wax looking table. Yeah, that third image there. You can just click through those. So I also just wanted to talk through this one. So this is a really good example of their wider interest in designing with living systems, natural materials, so rather than treating furniture and products like this static object. They were commissioned by Campa to create these stools and benches, which are made by beeswax, which are infused with flowers, which is so beautiful. And obviously beeswax in itself is like this living material, so it looks gorgeous, but it's continuously reusable, it's malleable and reformable through heat and touch, so it will be capable of change over time, and it just kind of creates a furniture piece that's not conceived as this like permanent state, and we're not striving for permanence here. It's more just looking at like appreciating the object's life, and the shape of it and the movement of it will kind of change over time, which I thought there was something really special to that.
I love it. It reminds me so much of the shape of like some of the camper shoes. So
yeah. And then you can go to my second link, which is something quite different. So this is Kaka. So this was a label by Angelina Wu, and you can just kind of scroll through her page. So she's just graduating now from Parsons and Columbia. She actually created the brand, which Kaka, yes, she was intentional that it meant poop. She created it with some of her high school friends like 5 years ago, and she said that they've since gone off and grew up and got sensible jobs, and I'm going to reclaim that brand, and now she wants to open it back up as her fashion line, having graduated. And at the top of her Insta, it says, "Stop making this fashion shit so serious." And I feel like it's pretty obvious that she kind of stands by that. And it's all of her pieces are wearable art. It's super silly, fun, childlike, and there's a real sense of like play and pleasure. And I hope, obviously, as a student, we kind of get a bit more room to be expressive and kind of, you're not restrained and you kind of not put into boxes and having to sell to different demographics and all these things. So I do hope that she keeps up with this amount of whimsy as she continues her career. There's not much information out about her, so I do feel like she's kind of just emerging and one to watch. But she does actually have some kind of intent to some of her pieces as well. There's a couple of pieces. If you go up to the top, you'll see like some runway models on like a white background. So that's her thesis piece. And she said some of her pieces do have this like social political rhetoric. It doesn't matter too much if you can't find the image. She said that she mixes intricate embroidery with everyday, made in China objects, because she's Chinese, such as plastic toys, recycled dollar store items, and mass-produced knickknacks. And by recontextualizing these materials, she transforms these textiles, questioning cultural assumptions while celebrating the richness of her identity. So yeah, just a really fun designer to keep an eye on. Just like her proportions, her color usage, everything. It's just gorgeous. And then my last link is something that you're probably going to be all familiar with when you see it. So this banana, if you're not familiar, or just as a refresher, was designed by Maurizio Cattelan, and I say designed, it was sold at Art Basel in 2019 for, I think, $120,000. And at the time, it caused a lot of friction, a lot of interesting conversations, because who is buying a 30 cents banana for 100? That's how much he said he paid at the store before the show, for 120K. However, a few years later, 2024, Sotheby's sold seemingly the same art piece for $6 million. And the person that bought this piece, as soon as he received it, ate the banana. And then now, the reason I'm bringing it up is because a couple of days ago, I guess, this art piece was featured at the Centre Pompidou in France, and the banana has been stolen. The art piece has been stolen. So it's such a hoo-ha. So I was reading about it. I was like, okay, hang on. Is this like a fake banana that's made to look like a real banana? How do they keep selling it? I always thought it was a real banana. But no, what they do is the Centre Pompidou, who are exhibiting this banana, had to replace it every 3 days. So as much as it would have been very sad to turn up to work and you just see a bit of duct tape hanging off the wall with the bananas nowhere to be seen, equally, they're going to be replacing that banana anyway. And in this article, the Centre Pompidou are quoted by saying, the value of the work lies in its certificate of authenticity and then the protocol governing its presentation rather than its perishable element. So the art piece isn't actually the art piece. The art piece is the authenticity letter to say how high it should be on the wall. So it blew my mind a little bit. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. People are spending crazy money. People are appreciating this. But then equally, I just showcase a designer that's all about frivolous fun. So maybe I'm missing the point and maybe we should all be having bananas on our wall. I don't know. But I read about it a couple of days ago. So I just thought it was an interesting thing to come around 7 years after it caused such an uproar. It's like back again. So I just thought it was bananas.
Very funny. Thank you, Lisa. Then we'll go to Joe.
Hey. Hi everyone, I'm Jo Thomas and I'm the Director of Colour here at FS. So we can jump into my first link. So yeah, my first link is Slow Way Studio. And this is a project that was born from a 3-month walk across Britain from Land's End to John O'Groats. And the whole purpose was to document heritage crafts and celebrate makers across the country whose skills have an increasingly fragile future. So they actually recently showed an exhibition of the makers they encountered on this walk at the London Craft Week this past week just gone. And what I find so moving about the spotlight is it really puts an emphasis on craft as this expertise. So these skills that aren't learned overnight, that are really passed down and built up over years, sometimes decades. And there's a real reverence for that here. And I think that's so important as we live in a world that increasingly values, speed and scale. And projects like this are such a reminder that some of the most extraordinary human knowledge is actually living in people's hands. And the project itself kind of embodies the same philosophy. Their tagline is to see what could be learned when time is taken and attention is paid. So it's this idea of they went for a walk for 3 months and paid attention, really choosing slowness as the method, not just the subject. So yeah, if we scroll down, we could just watch the film or their little short video together. But I really encourage you to spend time on the site. They kind of spotlight each of the makers that they made along the way. And it's just a really, really beautiful project. But yeah, if you play the video, Hallie.
This is Joe. And this is me, Freddie. Together, we walked the length of Britain to document this island's heritage crafts and raise money doing it. The plan was simple. We would start in Land's End and follow the footpaths to John O'Groats. For 98 days, travelling 1,300 miles, taking 2.4 million steps, we zigzagged our way up the country. We lived out of our bags, camped in fields, battled with our feet, and survived on a ration of mincemeat and tinned tomatoes. The idea was to be slow, walk from spring into early autumn. Our pace matched the season and was in the same cadence as the work we saw. Our biggest lesson learned being the value of time. We saw willow crab pots used on the Cornish coast, tanning on Dartmoor, their hides soaked in oak and scraped for leather. The block printers we saw in Dorset told stories of belonging, and to see the pole lathe in action was particularly enthralling. There was the potter, the waller, the carver and smith, the weaver and shepherd we cannot miss. The kilt maker was the last to see, reimagining the garment's identity. We wanted to learn why the handmade is something we should care about. Why is a straight line drawn by hand infinitely more exciting than an actual straight line? Perhaps it's because its imperfection is human. Maybe we see a little bit of ourselves in handmade objects. In all the workshops we visited, there was a spirit carried over from maker to object. Their work had life, the same way watching a bird make a nest, a rabbit a warren, or a tree in its carefully constructed roots. It showed the true value of things. A can of worms for next time.
But yeah, very much encourage you to dig into the site a bit more, and go into all of the makers that they spotlight.
Amazing. I love the map too, like the hand drawn.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so then my second link is from Fern, which is a British natural fragrance brand, really keeping it British today, who I've definitely admired ever since I visited their London store a few years ago. And I was just really in awe of how they managed to make the retail experience feel so welcoming and sensorial. I think all five of my senses were touched just walking into the store. So if anyone's in London, I genuinely recommend checking it out. It's just near Carnaby Street. But what's caught my attention recently is less about their fragrance and actually more about what they're doing with film. So the brand was founded by a brother and sister called Emily and Owen, who grew up in a biodynamic farm in Somerset. And their origin story really matters here because they've really built the whole brand around this seasonal, nature-rooted storytelling, and they've taken some of that sensibility into their filmmaking. So they actually now have an entire in-house film team, and each seasonal fragrance launch arrives with a short film that definitely feels closer to art cinema than advertising. And they've even built this online cinema, which you can see on screen here. And you can start to watch all of their different seasonal films. And what I really love is they're kind of really inviting you into the mood, the season, a feeling. It doesn't feel like they're really selling you a product. It's really got this genuine craft, this genuine point of view behind it. It just feels incredibly authentic. So I thought we could watch the Spring 26 film. It's just the little picture of the beaver on the bottom, the second one. You can click full screen and then click play. But I just absolutely loved it.
I
But all
am
of the films are
so
amazing.
in
Yeah, sorry.
love. I'm distinguished, rewilded, alive. Left to my own devices, I work like a dream. Under my surface, something is working, something is breathing. Bubbles of busyness pop on the gleaming skin of the wondrous water. Something is channeling, tunneling, building, planning. What radical sculptors are working these forms, carving these shapes, reconfiguring time and space, land and scape? Well, look who it is. Oh, my clever beavers. Look at them fetch, stop, chew, listen. Noses glistening, guard hairs bristling. Helpful herbivores evolved in harmony with the will of the water. What are you up to, my brilliant friends? New life is romping through me. Look at my gossiping forest of bluebells. Look at my lichen, my nutrient tattoos. Everything poised for growth or flight. Babies! Oh my. So that's what you've been so busy doing. Oh, you are beautiful. Welcome home. I am so glad to be alive to see these new litters. The ongoing melody beyond my control. Under the surface, something is turning. Under my skin, there are infinite songs of this green romance. Lie down and listen. The natural order is spectacular chaos and bliss. I am so in love with this spring, which moves at the pace of my dreaming.
Yeah, I feel like I can't watch that without smiling at it. It's just so feel good. But yeah, that's it for my links. But definitely check out a lot of their other films. They're amazing.
I mean, obviously, I love this.
Yeah.
I still love even just the UX and the design on the site is adorable.
So nice, isn't it?
We also were having a conversation just in the office earlier about like the storytelling of fragrance brands, about how they have to like do so much storytelling because obviously you can't test the product online. So they just, I feel like there's so much creativity in fragrance now. So I love this. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Great. Maria.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maria, and I am the senior strategist on the youth team. So my links today are actually a bit more on the AI fashion tech side. So the first one is this app called Doji. So you can click on the first link. Unfortunately, the website isn't too inspiring, but the concept is, so basically two guys came together. They are like, one was a software engineer for Apple and the other one was a software engineer for an AI company called DeepMind. And they kind of banded together. They created this app, and this basically helps you create a digital avatar of yourself, which you can use to try on clothes virtually. So I think this concept isn't necessarily new. It's been around, but the technology is finally like catching up to this idea of trying on clothes in the digital space. So I think they're testing it out for now. They got a huge investment of like 14 million. So I think it's something to keep an eye on. I can totally see this happening in like beauty, where it's really hard to go and, try on a million swatches on your hands, but it would be so much easier to just test it out virtually before making an investment purchase or anything like that. So I think there's quite a lot of potential here. So next to it, I added a TikTok link where this guy shows how it actually works when you download the app, which I thought was pretty interesting too. Yeah.
Truly think is going to be like the new standard of shopping for clothes online. No, it does use artificial intelligence, but I do think it's really cool. So let's try it out. So we gotta take 6 selfies here. Okay, let's try this out straight ahead. And now I'll have to find 2 full-length pics. I'm gonna go ahead and upload that. I'm gonna go ahead and submit these to create my likeness. Then it's gonna have you select some brands. Now there's a lot of selection, but it's mostly higher end. Dries Van Noten, Tire Studios is cool. So I think it took a total of 30-ish minutes maybe. Boom, there you go. There's AI me. It's crazy. Now let's say I want to try on something. Half jacket. Let's do this Motorola and then create look. There you go. And so it does full body, which is pretty cool. The likeness looks pretty good. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a really good idea of what you would look like. I'll just save that. Once you save it, it'll save to your profile. And it looks really decent. You might be able to get this through ChatGPT, but that is a lot more hands-on. And yeah, you can just look through all of these. If you're into fashion, there's this new platform that I truly think is going to...
I think that's so cool, especially for shops that don't have a lot of like real stores. This would be such a good option for them to implement in their online website. So then my next link is another kind of fashion tech model. It's a little bit of a case study at this point because the reviews aren't very good. But if you scroll down, so it just positions, it's a brand called Finesse. They position themselves as like a regular fast fashion, youth-driven brand. But if you scroll down a little bit over here, like this is kind of the explanation of their brand. So they use a lot of AI to generate multiple SKUs, which they then upload onto their app, and customers get to vote on the designs that they like the most. So the point is to sort of not just go into production with like a huge amount of product, but like limit it and have customers have like a voting say in the process. So I thought that was a really cool initiative to include, like have your customer kind of be involved and want to like pitch their idea of like what they think is a product that they want to buy. But I think where they kind of fell short was when people received the packages, a lot of them they just weren't up to par when it came to fit. So I think AI kind of, maybe they leaned in a little too heavily on AI and they didn't get enough like real world fit. But ultimately, I think it's a very interesting model, especially for like very fast fashion brands. I know that like, let's say Skims sort of they use their Instagram to like test out their product and see like what the general consensus is. So they'll say like, oh, do you like this color or this color? And people will like just have like an opinion about it. So I think this kind of takes that to the next level by having your actual customer become part of the creative process. So I thought that was interesting. to think about, especially for like brands like Shein or Temu who are like so big and so like SKU heavy. So yeah, so that was my other link. And then lastly, there's this brand I came across, which is based in New York. I think it's so much fun. It's called Pearl and the Beast, and this sort of sits in that like young girls wanting to do crafts and create their own product. So basically, it's a store where you go in, and this brand only specializes in this specific pearl that comes from mussels rather than oysters. And you pick the mussel, you extract all the mussel, the pearls from the like gooey mussel, and then you create your own piece of jewelry. So I think it's really cool. You can see the IG video I put next to it, which kind of gives you an idea of how it works.
Unique activity to do in New York. You get to pick your own mussel and make one-of-a-kind jewelry from the pearls inside. And yes, apparently pearls come from mussels too, not just oysters. What's special about Pearl and the Beast is that their mussels can have up to 30 pearls. That literally blew my mind. They had 3 types to choose from: Edison, which has 1 large pearl, Classic with 10 to 30 round pearls, and Rocky with 10 to 20 more uniquely shaped pearls. I wanted something different from my usual pearl jewelry, so I went with the Rocky mussel. The mussel was massive, and oh my god, there were so many pearls inside. They were all slightly different colors too, and the shapes were so cool. You have to pick them out one by one and let them soak in a cleaning solution for about 15 minutes. While they soaked, I looked at all the jewelry options and picked out the ones I wanted to make. You get to make 2 pieces included, and anything after that is an extra cost. I ended up getting 21 pearls in my mussel. For my jewelry, I made a pair of earrings and a necklace. You lay out exactly how you want your pieces, and the staff helps assemble everything for you. Look how gorgeous my jewelry turned out. This is such a unique activity to do in New York. You get to pick your
I think it just kind of speaks to girls just wanting to do fun things with crafts and like have an experience that they leave with a product with. So I think it's cool. If anyone's in New York, they should totally check it out.
Thank you, Maria. All right, so I have a couple of links next. The first one is one of my favorite movies that I've seen this year so far, which is I Love Boosters. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, I have put the link to the trailer, but if you haven't seen it, it is a Boots Riley film, and I feel like if you haven't seen any of his films before, it's kind of hard to prepare for what you are going in for. I feel like the word zany is kind of underselling all of his work, but I think he's one of the most kind of brilliant, creative, and absurd and original storytellers that's working today. But I have, again, linked the trailer, but I really wanted to talk about kind of the fashion in the film, and not necessarily like the actual fashion, but this article called Fashion for the Revolution really speaks to the it is a oh my god it's a oh my gosh, I literally lost my words. It's a oh my god, I was like, I don't know why I can't think of the word. It is an interview with the costume designer, but basically what it's about is this fashion forward philanthropy film. And I think it's really interesting because I don't want to give anything about the film away, but it is a film about workers' rights. And I feel like it's about the people that come up with the original ideas for the clothes. It's about people who make the clothes, and it feels like the true modern fashion film. And the costume designer is Shirley Kurata, who is an Academy Award winner film. She worked on Everything Everywhere All at Once, but she's also worked with celebrity clients like Tierra Whack and also Billie Eilish in the past. But I just feel like this film was so fascinating, obviously from a colorful fashion perspective, but just also the messaging here. But I just feel like it's just so exciting to see something truly original in the film, and I highly recommend it. But just kind of looking through, obviously, once you see the film, but also if you're even watching the trailer, you see obviously everything is very bright, very monochromatic. It's almost cartoonish in nature, especially when you see all of the clothes paired with these color-drenched sets. But I thought it was really interesting when this article talks to the designer, and she speaks about kind of also highlighting these up-and-coming designers and kind of recent fashion graduates. So she wasn't just pulling from obviously these like well-known brands and designers when she was building the costumes for the film, but I think it really spoke to kind of the spirit of the film and kind of how it is this truly, I don't know, it is kind of this anti-capitalist and really like true workers fashion film. But I really felt that it helped kind of create the dimension and character and really shape the narrative of the film. So I don't know, I just really loved the article. It's a really great deep dive with the fashion director or fashion costume director. Really dives into kind of the fashion industry, the modern fashion industry. I thought it was really fascinating. And I feel like also, especially in the summer where we have movies like The Devil Wears Prada that came out, which is kind of framing itself as like a fashion movie, and she even talks about it in here. I felt like this one is truly speaking to what the fashion industry is about in its current state. So yeah, highly recommend anyone going to see it. It's a very fun film. It's very unique. It gets very kooky and bizarre very quickly, which is very typical of Boots Riley's film. That's him right there. That's also the costume designer. But so I definitely recommend you seeing the film and then coming back to read this. But just wanted to highlight it here. And I just loved this article. I loved that it was talking about fashion for the revolution, and it felt really prescient, and just really loved it. And then my second link here is called Current Rothko. And this is a website by the web designer Juens Berthian. And he created this website, and it picks the closest Rothko painting to how the weather feels outside of your window. So the way it's done is that every Rothko painting that's currently in the matching system, so I think it's 89 current paintings, is hand tagged with a specific color register. So it's based on brightness, temperature, and mood. And then the engine matches it to the moment that reflects the weather that's in your current location. So you can refresh the weather here to get alternative picks. So it is, I guess it's not really actually overcast here in New York, but it's a little bit more brighter than that. And you can also get a glimpse of other locations. So you can look at what's happening in London, maybe a little bit more gray outside, but I just really like how it's kind of reflecting the different pieces of art to what's happening outside your window. So very quick link from me. And then I'll kick it over to Charlotte.
Thanks, Hallie. Hi, everyone. I'm Charlotte DeLumpa-Alexander. I'm based in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm a strategist on our accessories team. I am also a weird and niche perfume enthusiast in my free time. So I wanted to share a cool fragrance collab centered around A24's new film Backrooms that came out this past week. And takes viewers through the liminal spaces of another dimension known as the back rooms. Is the link there? Oh, perfect. So the fragrance is produced by Unjust Jewelry in collaboration with digital designer and DJ Romance Planet. And the fragrance itself is described as opening with notes of old wallpaper, ceiling tile, wet carpet, and mahogany, and then settles into a fine layer of dust. And underneath it all is a base of dark musk and an ozonic element that gives it an endless, spacious vibe that's quoted as being weirdly comforting. So the fragrance is available in a rollerball oil or a larger spray bottle. Unfortunately, it's still on pre-order, so I won't get to smell it while watching the movie in theaters, which I haven't seen it yet, so no spoilers, please. But honestly, maybe I'll wait until I can get my hands on the scent, since it can be a sort of like multi-sensory experience. I did this with the Nosferatu film and the perfume that came out by Heretic. And it really did like enhance the viewing experience, being able to smell something while watching. So I love seeing these sort of like experiential film and fragrance collabs, taking it kind of off the screen and actually giving us something to interact with, which kind of ties into what Joe brought as well. Scent is such a powerful sense. So it's been cool to see brands kind of picking up on this. So we can go to my next link.
I love this. I feel like I can already picture the scent.
Yeah. So I wanted to share a recent book release that I've been excited about. This is Eat Bitter by Lydia Pang, who's the founder or co-founder of the design studios Morning and Evening. So this is a really unique take on a memoir. It's part personal story, part food writing, and part exploration of Chinese heritage. So the title comes from the Chinese phrase "eat bitter," which refers to enduring hardship in pursuit of something better. And Pang uses that idea to explore identity, creativity, and resilience through the lens of food. So rather than treating recipes as like standalone content, the different dishes and ingredients act as these kind of entry points into conversations about belonging, grief, cultural inheritance. And I've only just started reading it, but so far it feels like a lot more immersive than a traditional memoir. Also, Lydia's style is just super subversive. So she talks about this being a story of food and guts, which is awesome. But it mostly just refers to her Chinese sort of cultural inheritance and lineage. So I have another link related to this if you can go to the next one. So tying in with fragrance to accompany the book, they created this limited edition bone broth candle in collaboration with lifestyle brand Earl of East, which I know a bone broth candle sounds a little bit scary at first, but it's actually kind of perfect given the context of the book. Bone broth represents nourishment, comfort, and care. And the candle translates those ideas into this physical sensory experience. And I actually took a shot and asked to be added to the PR list as a big fan of Lydia for like an advanced reader copy when the book was first announced. And surprisingly, they said yes. So I actually received the ARC as well as the candle. And I can confirm it smells delicious. It's definitely more like herbal and aromatic than, say, savory or like, God forbid, meaty. It definitely does not smell like that. So fear not. But yeah, I just love how this adds another layer to the reading experience, like the Backrooms perfume. Instead of just kind of consuming a piece of media, you're really engaging with it through multiple senses, which I think is really cool. So yeah, that's it from me. Thanks so much for listening.
I love that. Thank you, Charlotte. Right, Tamra.
Awesome. Super happy for you, Charlotte, that you got on that list. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Tamra Escovici and I'm based near Brussels in Belgium, and I'm the senior strategist for active and outdoor here at the Fest. And the links I wanted to share today are all in the same theme. I wanted to showcase the interaction between the intersection, between fashion and sports, which we have seen growing stronger and stronger over the last few seasons. We are definitely in a very sports-driven summer. We have Roland Garros that's happening right now. We have the FIFA World Cup kicking off next week. So we're definitely seeing that these major sporting events are no longer only platforms for, athletic performance and showcasing athletic abilities, but same as for marathons or the Olympics, these events have become global stages for athletes and people to be able to self-express, but also brands to be able to tell their story or athletes' story while also offering a lot of cultural reference. So a lot of fashion and luxury brands are definitely increasingly working with athletes, teams, and sporting events, and I just selected a few of them to showcase today. So we can go to my first link. So let's start with Roland Garros. So if we talk about the intersection of fashion and tennis, we obviously need to talk about Naomi Osaka. So if there is one athlete that is constantly serving these feats, it's definitely Naomi. So for this year, she worked together with Nike and Swiss designer Kevin Germanier. And she arrived wearing this dramatic black corset that apparently was inspired by the Eiffel Tower and this pleated maxi skirt for a very dramatic entrance. We loved it. Underneath the dress, she had a custom tennis dress, shorter one, that was created from upcycled Nike garments, and it was finished with these all-over glittering gold straps and sequins. She apparently also had another dress in case the opponent was blinded by all of the sequins, so she definitely made her homework. She also had like a custom jacket made in the same material. We were definitely loving all of her choices, and also why she makes those choices, She sees fashion as a way to express herself and just a way to have fun on the court, which is also something that we have been seeing a lot. Embellishment and sequins were definitely the theme this year, with also Taylor Townsend stepping out on the court in a dress that was fully embellished with rhinestones, and Arina Sabalenka that made headlines with her jewelry collection that was estimated around 200 carats of diamonds and jewelry worn throughout the tournament, which is crazy. We can go to the next link. So not only women wear certain looks, but also on the men's side, we have Novak Djokovic that partnered with Lacoste on a custom jacket. And what made this piece really special was the actual use. I think if you go a little bit further to the right, you can see a little video how they actually incorporated Roland Garros clay into the overall design, utilizing a unique handcrafted process. So it also featured like a wolf motif on the back that was created utilizing 3D techniques, but also artisanal detailing, all inspired by the colors, textures, and energy of the clay court, which again was an amazing showcase how luxury craftsmanship, fashion, and performance can be paired together. So moving from tennis to soccer, wanted to put the attention to the FIFA World Cup. So here again, a lot of these luxury fashion brands are collaborating with soccer teams, as soccer remains the world's most watched sport globally. So first one, Jacques Mus for Les Bleus, for the team of France. So the designer collaborated on the pre-match collection, and obviously the shirt needed to be blue because of the name as well. So they have also these very elegant white chalk stripes and very refined detailing, everything that we would love into a more French collection. As the designer states, he really wanted to explore how soccer influences style, identity, and creative expression, and created this kind of like nostalgia 1990s soccer culture, but through a more modern lens. So definitely beautiful pieces for the designer. Soccer is also a part of France as a country, as a culture, as a heritage. So it was really beautiful to see how they all work together. My second example is from the Haiti team. So, what I really loved about this project, it was created and designed by Stella Jean, who is an Haitian Italian designer. And it was really interesting because the Haitian team wasn't qualified since 1974 to be able to go on the World Cup. So for them, it's like already a win to just be selected. So really beautiful to see how the designer incorporated again her Haitian's roots. She also designed the opening ceremony outfits and uniforms from the Haitian team from the Milano Olympics, which were also amazing. So just so beautiful to see how she integrates a lot of her heritage and the culture behind the country and the people. Every piece has also a phrase, La vie est belle. I don't know if I pronounce it well, but it's life is beautiful, which again incorporates a lot of these bold textures, hues, and vibrant Caribbean-inspired fabrics into traditional jerseys. So really beautiful to see. And lastly, we can move to Spain. So here, the team collaborated with the luxury brand Loewe, also a Spanish brand. So definitely makes sense over there. So they are going to work with the national men's and women's football team, and they are designing not the kits, but kind of like the outfits for the players off the pitch. So it's again really beautiful. Love how the tailored suit is kind of reinvented, made it a little bit more modern, have a lot of subtle embroidery details, showcase again the house's craft and expertise in craftsmanship. Really beautiful to see also how it's Loewe anniversary. So it's definitely also a win for the team to be able to showcase on that big platform that is soccer. Spain is also a huge soccer country, so really beautiful to see this partnership exist. So that was it. Thank you so much.
So gorgeous. I love all of these examples. I love the Haiti ones so much.
Oh my God, they're beautiful.
So beautiful. Right, thank you so much, Tamara. And then last but not least, Rachel.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Gettner, Director of Active and Outdoor here at FS, based in Rotterdam, Netherlands. I think my Rothko is gray today. So I can start with my first link here. So this is an ad that I came across recently, and I really, really loved it. So I wanted to share with all of you today.
This is Pocket. I never go anywhere without it. At the tap of a button,
we get about 26,823 days, 76 summers. We'll have around 12 jobs, 10 fresh starts, six best friends, 4 best dog friends, all in about 15 great loves, 3 broken hearts, 5 broken leases, 1,205 firsts, 2.5 billion heartbeats. Our most human moments should be celebrated with humans. Celebrate being human. Etsy.
So I really love that ad. It makes me really emotional, which I think, bravo. They did exactly what they set out to do. But it's definitely really poignant. It definitely is arriving at a time. I know brands are trying to find an answer. There's this growing fatigue, algorithm-driven content increasingly making everything feel flat. Obviously, in the past, speed, price, and convenience were really dominating for years, but now the companies are seeking to really build the value through authenticity, craftsmanship, and emotional connection with the consumers, which is definitely a conversation we speak to a lot here at FS, and obviously an important topic for Etsy, which we know showcases crafters from around the world and vintage. What I also really loved about this ad, that rather than focusing on those traditional milestones that we grew up with, such as weddings or the birth of children, Etsy is highlighting what it calls these mini stones. So the small personal events that carry strong emotional significance for individuals. I love that it showed like a first apartment, recovering after breakup, like paying off student loans, really creating family-friendly traditions and showcasing like what is important and what is a mini stone for you. It's also really reflecting the changes maybe of younger generations, really letting consumers define for themselves what life moments they consider meaningful, rather than really relying exclusively on more socially accepted patterns for success markers and important events in life. So really love that ad from Etsy. Bravo, Etsy. And then my second link, and I think our last link for today, is something that I saw, and it's called Color Walking. And it's this viral mindfulness trend that I've seen pop up in a few different locations, but this one in particular was zeroing in on Chinese social media platforms that are absolutely loving this trend here. So participants are picking a color of the day and they go for a walk, just looking, photographing, noticing, documenting every object they spot that matches that specific shade or that particular hue. It's definitely a low-cost emotional fix. So for China's Generation Z, they're facing intense pressures from urban life, of course, work, social, internet burnout. And this sort of therapy, the color walking, is free and accessible mental health. Even the therapists there are endorsing the trend. So they're noting that focusing on hunting for a very specific color can help break that cycle of negative looping thoughts. And again, it really allows the brain to reset. I think all of us at FS and all of you creatives here, like we're very driven by color. So I think this is a fun game, a fun little brain reset, but also gets you out and active and looking at things a little bit differently in the world. It definitely makes things feel like a real life scavenger hunt. So maybe mixing up more mundane commutes to work or your everyday neighborhood that you know and love and see every day. It makes it feel a bit more dynamic, turns it into a creative adventure. And also you can do it alone, or you can have a different group, or I did this experiment with a friend here. So one of us chose a yellow, one of us chose a blue, and then we met up after a few hours and we compared. So it's a different way to kind of shake up the way we look at things and the way we take pictures. But in China specifically, they have WeChat groups where the community will vote on a daily color theme or a different color palette. And then they snap everyday items. So everything around them, whether it's a wall, a sign, an apple, and then they compile them into a cohesive aesthetic photo collage. And the trend has become so popular that the local tourism in cities such as Beijing have officially launched a designated color-themed walking route. So guiding the people through these color-coordinated parks and the cultural spots. So I did it. I think it was a really fun activity. I could show you mine someday as well for all the colors I took for that. But I say go for it and try it out. I think it just makes the walks a little bit more fun and definitely colorful.
Thank you. I've seen some of these and I saw one that it was a family on a vacation and like it basically every member of the family did it, but I love that it was kind of cross-generational and just showed how like everyone's perspective was so different. So like the young daughter, like things that she was taking pictures of differed from like her dad. So I loved that idea too, like doing it with their family. But
so cute. All the different height perspectives as well, like little kids' vantage point is so different, and noticing all the little things as well. But it really made me notice a lot more, and I know that's something that we speak a lot at FS is like slowing down and really noticing and finding the inspiration everywhere. So this is definitely one of those practices, but with color, which we all love.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much, team. This was inspiring as always, and thank you everyone for joining us for June, and we will see you all next month. Thank you.